Hello. Today's message, I'm going to talk about walking on eggshells. You know, my dad was a stern man, and he was a drill instructor before I was born, but it was the mentality that I was raised. And my dad was the type of man that just intimidated by his presence. He was the toughest man I knew up until the day he died. And he died of pancreatic cancer and still hardly took the painkillers that he needed. But in growing up, he knew he could intimidate. And we get people like that in our work environments, whether they're managers or whether they're other employees, that they learn that they can intimidate people and they can continue to do it more. Well, that's different than when you're a kid. But as I grew up, I was in business with my parents, and we had a couple markets, and there was a point to where I would voice my opinions, but I would get shut down. And it got to where it was like I was walking on eggshells. And there's a point to where you can't suppress what you want to say. So in counseling with my mom, and I was the youngest of 5 children, so I had that special relationship, my mom told me, Mijo, which means my son, if you catch yourself walking on eggshells and you allow it to continue, you'll find eggs at every turn. I had to think a second on that. And really what she was saying is that people would just allow it to happen more often. And I would just have to avoid more eggshells because it would come on and on. So finally the point came, and I had to confront my dad on the situation, and I did. And you know what? He stopped, looked at me, and hugged me. And his comment was, "This was the moment I've been waiting for." My dad was waiting for me to stand up to him. I didn't know it at the time, but our relationship was never the same. It was better. We were better in business, better as father and son. And see, this is just where I'm talking about in business, that we can't allow ourselves to walk on eggshells. We have to allow ourselves to be able to speak our mind professionally. We have to create an environment, if we're the leaders, that others aren't walking on eggshells, and we have open communication. And we have to allow them to speak their mind, because if not, then you're not functioning as a full team. So remember, if you find yourself walking on eggshells and you allow it, you'll find eggs at every turn. So that's today's message, and I appreciate your time. Thank you. Follow me at the following links below. And buy my book, Shortcuts Get You Lost, a leadership fable on the dangers of the blind leading the blind, at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Thank you.